head of community development, aren't you?
Pretty much now. It's my job.
I think so.
Welcome, Don. Welcome to Good Morning Riverside. It's about 4 in the afternoon, close to it.
Yes.
But thank you very much for stopping in. And Don here has some great stories, and I'd like to actually stop back and tell us a little bit about growing up, where you grew up, and then you went into the Army, and then we'll take it from there.
Well, I grew up in Warwick. Right now, I was 37 and a half years living in Warwick. Until 1985, it's been 40 years over in East Providence here. But my family roots are from here. My grandfather came here out of Nova Scotia back in probably 1906, 1907, something like that. And he established himself here, and it was very interesting because he had that house right on Turner Avenue, 9.5 Turner, right where the bowling alley used to be, right in the back. And I remember that really well as a youngster back in the early 50s and 40s.
Yeah.
And so I remember being here for a very long time, spending time with my grandmother, my great-grandmother. And we used to go to church every day with my great-grandmother. Yeah. And we would walk to St. Brendan's old parish.
Okay, the one that had burned down.
It burned down in the 60s, mid-60s, something like that, yes. So I have roots here. I remember very clearly the penny candy stores and the fun being down here.
And Crescent Park.
Crescent Park, yes. As a matter of fact, I spent a lot of time actually working at Rocky Point Park. Back in '65.
Very cool. Mm-hmm. And then off to the Army.
Yes. I got to college and then to the Army. Yeah, that was '67. That's just about 58 years ago now.
That's when I was born. So I was born and you were getting ready to go off to the Army.
Yes, yeah. I was a medic. Very pleased to be a medic.
Very cool.
Great training.
And where did you get to spend some time?
In Portland, Portland, Maine, would be most of it. Yeah. I was a medic up there in the induction station, giving physicals to people coming into the service one way or another, primarily through draft very often.
At that time of the country, a lot of kids were getting drafted into the. I saw a lot of scared kids coming.
Well, not really.
No?
Yeah, no. It's a bunch of wise guys, and some were want to be tough guys, and they didn't realize that being real multi was going to get them in the Marines instead of the Army. I made the decisions on those things. Yeah. They actually gave me this SOP to be able to handle communications with Washington, D.C. on all the inputs. It was throughout the nation, and they gave you about 560-page SOP that you had to learn all the computer codes to be able to induct and get the right social aspects of every person coming into the service. And so they also gave me the opportunity to pick out a line whoever I thought would make a good Marine. And so that happened now and then.
I'm sure.
Most of them were pretty scared, but nothing compared to going over and actually being part of something. Yeah. It was my choice to go into the Army. Yeah. After the Air Force, I had taken batteries of tests. I did extremely well on them, but I didn't want to wait to get in there. I wanted to get back to my engineering work that I was doing. And I just loved it so much, I just figured, let me just get this done and over with and get back to what I enjoyed doing. Yeah. I really thought I was going to be part of the Army engineering group, but it just so happened they changed the program 3 days after I was in the Army, and that's why they gave me a choice of just about what MOS I wanted. Yeah. And I chose to be helping people instead of killing people. Yeah. Not that I was bad, because I shot the highest in the company. I mean, I could shoot a rifle. I did as a kid even, so.
And then you can go fix them.
Yeah, exactly. Shoot the right people anyway. Yeah.
And Barber Shot Quartet, what brought you to that?
Oh, that's very interesting. Actually, the people across the street, the Sullivans, knew that the owner of the business that they were working in was Frank Lanza. Frank Lanza was the world champion quartet tenor, and he sang all over in England and all over. He was on the TV, Merv Griffin, I think it was back in the 60s, and as the Four Statesmen Quartet, which was very well known back in the time. And she knew that I was always singing around the house and so on. She goes, why don't you go see these people? And she said, really, you should go meet with Frank Lanzman. Let me set it up for you. Yeah. And I did, and I met them at the Marriott Hotel. They were singing there up in Providence. And lo and behold, Johnny Radigan, who was a next-door neighbor of mine, father of the kid that I played with as a child, and Frank Lanzer, and just this wonderful group of people. And so I really got attached to the social aspects of it and camaraderie, and it was just a wonderful way to spend some good time with good people.
And around what year was this?
81.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the end of 80 to 81.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you actually got to do a little touring with it. It turned out to be more than just singing in the kitchen now.
I had great opportunities because when I joined the Narragansett Bay Chorus, which is the chorus I joined, the quartets come from and so on, they had, I think I was the 19th member. They had 18 members at the time. And in the next few years, we grew to 100 and well over 100 people singing in that chorus. We were award-winning national contests. And we did very, very well under the direction of Ted Doran, who was magnificent. And they had some great talent there. Charlie Greaves, God bless his soul, we were so close. He was a great lead singer, and the big guy, everybody would miss him. He was tremendous and well known over in Oakland as an engineer, and especially in all technologies and welding and so on, due to boats. Yeah. He was very well known. But he was also an extremely good tenor and a wonderful, wonderful person. Just so many wonderful people I was surrounded by. Yeah. Not only here, but also singing up in Concord, the great chorus up there. And I sang with some guys up there in a quartet. So I was close to them as well. And we went to Detroit. And that was a nice trip. And then I ended up in Seattle and San Antonio.
And this was, you were going to do like the contests,
the choruses and the quartets too. Yes, yeah. It was pretty significant. St. Louis was a very dull city. Yeah, it was terrible. They'd have the hotels in social areas and lounges and so on. Yeah, they'd only be 10 feet by 12 feet. They were just, there was no social people opportunities there. Yeah, you're searching to get something to eat and you're searching to get everything. But anyway, not to say anything.
Yeah, no.
Seattle was great.
Oh yeah,
Seattle was fabulous. Just so many different things we did. And I sang in a comedy quartet in my later life called the Pandora, and we sang down in Baltimore. That's what I'm trying to get at. We had a lot of fun. We sang from there all the way up through the Northeast and up to New Brunswick, Canada, up in Fredericton.
Now, a comedy quartet doing...
Just singing for pop and having a show to put on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the audiences that you would get in front of?
Just about always it's a group of the different chapters that we have all over the United States. So we would be paid to come on and bring our talents and put on a show for them so that they could have their own annual show. Yes. For the monies and contributions and whatever else, and just trying to grow the sport, so to speak.
Now, how long has it been since you've been active in...
I haven't sung since... The last time I sang in a quartet is when we all got back together in '95. Yeah. And another one in Warwick. There was another show going on.
Was it the same guys that you were?
Yes. But I really ended up singing with the comedy quartet in '90s, so I was just through the '80s. Yeah. Just through the '80s. There's too much going on in life as you get a little older.
Yes, so. Most definite. Most definite. And now you're in Riverside.
Yep.
Living in Riverside. Mm-hmm. And you have a wife.
Yes.
And how about a little about your family life? What's happened over the time?
Well, it's a growing experience.
Yes.
So we all go through different phases and so on, but with the 4 children, we did everything we could for them, and pretty proud of them.
Very cool. Are they around? So are they local?
Yeah, in Warwick and Providence. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're across the bridge.
Just across the bridge. So
you just don't get to see them that often.
No, they're busy in their lives too.
Well, that bridge too will slow anybody down. But now, and some of the trips that you took, were these during the '80s? Is that when you were?
Yes, they all were. Yes.
So
Montreal was a great stay. I was up there quite a few times.
So now a trip to Montreal it's for the four of you, the quartet, or is it the whole chorus is going?
And the chorus.
So there could be up to 100 people going on those trips.
Oh yeah, well there's probably in a division contest it'd be probably 900, 1,200, 1,500 people
at the
event
contest.
Yeah. And the higher level, the regionals, we would have 5,000 or 6,000.
Yeah.
The international, where all of the national tournaments are, were 11, 12, 13, 14, 15,000 people there.
Wow.
And you just knew everybody, and you just had your hotel room wide open all the time.
And how did this get funded? Can't be cheap to getting yourself up to Montreal and then Detroit.
Well, you never gave it a second thought. You just loved it so much.
Yeah. So it was on the singer to get themselves up to Montreal.
Oh yeah, primarily. Yeah. I don't think there was. Well, I mean, we'd raise some monies and so on to help out.
Yeah.
We'd have different types of auctions and that kind of thing to help out. But the quartets would make a reasonable amount of money and not traveling. We wouldn't have to worry about traveling, the food, the hotels.
Very good.
Anything, and we got paid. So
very nice.
It was a nice hobby for as much as 27, 28 weeks a year.
Yeah.
The family would come with me too. They got
to do the traveling and seeing around the country.
A lot of it. Yeah.
And did any of your kids follow in?
Oh, actually, my son Donald was very much a part of it, even as 12 years old.
Wow.
And he sang all four parts, all lead, tenor, bass, baritone.
That's awesome.
Oh, he was tremendous talent. And he directed the chorus also as a young person.
Very cool.
Yeah, and he also sang a lot in different groups here in Rhode Island. He had his own, not a quartet, but a band.
Yeah.
Perfect Circle was well loved back in the 80s and the early 90s.
Is he a musician too, or just a singer? Not only music, just a singer.
He could just about do anything.
Yeah.
Just like my father.
Yeah.
My father played every musical instrument.
I have a few friends like that I'm just amazed. You can give him a stick and he's going to break out a top 40 song.
And Donald did the same kind of thing. He's very, very talented.
Does he still play any instruments or?
No, he's kind of involved in his business, and I'm sure that he's very still close with the other people in those bands and his high school buddies and so on.
Yeah.
You know? It all really originated out of the soccer teams that we started years ago. I was a coach in soccer. Then I'd have a week off. Then I'd have my baseball. Have a week off, and then I'd do my soccer again, right around the clock, 50 weeks a year.
Yeah, well,
it's a lot of fun.
Keep you healthy.
If I was healthy, it's one of the best things I ever did, you know?
Yeah, well, it keeps you active. Being active is huge in this world.
And just being around the young people and trying to see what they're like. It was just almost as rewarding as being a CDD teacher at St. Brendan for years. My wife did it for many years, and then I did it for so many years, and it was extremely rewarding.
Yes.
It was those kids, they could never understand. It was usually around the junior high area where I was teaching and before confirmation. And the kids would just go, well, you don't get paid for this? Why do you do this? I said, no, listen, I'm here to try to help you, this kind of thing. And we grew so close, those classes. We took them all out to La Salette Shrine over in Attleboro.
Yes, beautiful place.
I had some great times with those kids.
And it ends up helping that gender gap.
Yes.
I mean, the age gap.
It was quite amazing. Quite amazing. My wife was so good at it. So.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing too. You get out of touch with kids because look at what's going on now. Everybody has electronics or whatever, and
it's unbelievable.
Everybody's so different, and it's whatever you're exposed to. Kid grows up watching TV. That's his style. If they grow up playing with a phone, that's so. Back in those days, this was in the 80s or 90s when you were?
This is, the early 90s anyway, And it's funny, too, because one of the things I used to incorporate was feedback from the kids.
Yeah.
And one of the things was about prayer. And I said, what is prayer? And they'd go back, instantaneous communication.
Yeah.
And that's what the world grew to with cell phones and so on, that kind of thing. I said, it's because he's always going to be there for you. Yep. But that's all it takes is instantaneous communication.
Yeah.
That was kind of neat. But no, it was very rewarding, all of the different things that I was involved in. And I have no regrets.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Don, for your time and for this chat and for letting people know these are the people in your neighborhood.